Riverbend Awareness Project.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast episode are solely those of the individuals participating and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of Riverbend Media Group or the Riverbend Awareness Project, its affiliates, or its employees. It is important to note that the discussion presented is for informational purposes only and should not be construed as medical advice. Listeners are encouraged to consult with qualified healthcare professionals for any medical concerns or decisions. The Riverbend Awareness Project is a product of Riverbend Media Group.
Welcome back to the Riverbend Awareness Project. We are continuing our National Ag Month focus, and today we have Alan Clark from Clark Farms in Menan, Idaho. So just let you do a little brief introduction of yourself. And
I'm Alan Clark, as she said, and I'm a fifth-generation cattle rancher farmer. They're out of Menan, Idaho. We have about 500 cows, beef cows. And then we run about 1,300 acres of farm ground between alfalfa, malt, barley, and wheat. And this operation that we run, it's, like I said, it's a fifth generation family farm. I farm with my dad and my brother. And as my kids are growing up, I have 4 girls, and my oldest daughter just loves being out on the farm with us, and she looks forward to maybe taking over the farm and being the 6th generation.
Well, that's awesome. It seems like families do farming together, at least in this area. That's kind of a big thing. Well, that's cool to see that it's continuing with your family. Can you tell us about Clark Farms? What, I guess you just told us what you grow and all that, but how has your farm grown over the years?
So it seems like we go back, like I said, 5 generations, and it's kind of grown a little bit over time. And as technology's advanced, one farmer could take on a little bit more ground. When my dad took it over from his dad, he doubled the size of the farm. And then since we've been involved with my dad's, me and my brother's taken it over, we've doubled the size of it to about 1,300 acres. And again, there's just the 3 of us really running that farm. And it's because of the technology that we have, the tractors, the equipment that lets a family operation farm
survive, yeah. Think about like the difference between what I've seen where there's like the family farms that continue to grow and kind of evolve, I guess. Like you still have, your traditions and things, but you're using the advanced technology versus other farms that might kind of dwindle away. So I don't know. You see that difference, I feel like, probably in most industries too, but it's there in ag too. What do you love the most about day-to-day farming and ranching?
Well, there's 2 things that really stand out to me, and it goes back that I get to work with my dad and my brother every day. Some people say that might not be the best thing, but I have a great relationship with my dad and brother, and we realize that none of us want to farm by ourselves, and so we kind of need each other. We help each other. So being able to be that family operation, I talked about my daughter when she comes out on the farm and she rides horses with us, and she just tags along with me. Like that's that's some of the greatest things that I can experience is being able to work with my family. And my house is right on the farm, so I can be super busy, but if my family needs me, I'm right there. And so the kind of flexibility. And so I love the family aspect of it. And every day is different. I don't have to sit in an office every day, do the same computer work. You'll go out, you're like, I'm going to feed cows today, and the water line's broke or something like that. So then what you thought was going to be an easy day, you're stuck in the mud. Or vice versa. Someone calls and say, hey, we want you to come do this. We can go do that. We're working with cows, we're working with tractors, but you're just not stuck in that same.
There's always something different to be done.
Something different. And I love that. It just
keeps you on your toes. It's not the same boring thing every day. What part of farming or ranching do people often overlook, like something that has a big impact on your operation?
Well, there's quite a few things, but the weather can make and break our operation. Like one bad time storm
Yeah.
can put you out of business. Whereas also one rightly timed storm can make you a lot of money. And so we look at that, Mother Nature can help you or break you. We look at the snowpack this year, and it's really quite low.
Yeah.
And where we run our cows up on the Idaho-Montana border, they're the lowest snowpack in the state. And so if this summer when we go to take our cows up there, there's not going to be food for them. And there won't be the water in the creeks to use them, and the fire hazard will be a lot higher. And so if we don't get a couple good storms early spring, in June, July, we're going to have to come off the forest. We're going to have to feed them hay. The expense of everything just goes up. So, Mother Nature really plays a big role. And then also we'll not necessarily go after the politicians, but policy that our lawmakers make can have a huge impact on us. If someone gets an idea that, hey, the farmers have to change their farming practices, it's really quite hard to change. We will, because that's what we need to do, but it's really can be quite detrimental to a farm.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be more probably costs that you're going to have to put in and new processes and adapting to whatever policies in place. So that makes sense. Yeah. No, pray for more snow and rain. That's another big thing. It's just like we need that snow. As
nice as it is not to have the snow down here, it is something we really need. Like even for people that want to go out for recreational things, if we don't have water, we don't have lakes that are full, there's not rivers to go float on, all that kind of stuff. It affects everything.
It is. It's a big deal.
Yeah. And the fires, people run cattle everywhere in the mountains around here. So that's a big deal for everybody.
So how do you balance, you said you've got cattle operation and then like the crop production. How do you balance those two things?
I really don't think that we have to balance them. They actually complement each other. Where we will raise our alfalfa, if, say, we get a bunch of rain on our hay and it's not the best quality, so it's kind of hard to sell, we can still feed that to our cows. And then if we do have good hay, we can feed some of the less quality to our cows and then sell it. And so that's really a great way to get rid of that hay that's hard to sell. Also, a lot of times when alfalfa or your feed's high, cows are low, and then vice versa. They kind of affect each other. And so a lot of times we always have one crop or commodity that is going to help us stay successful. And that goes into the grain as well. As if grain's high, a lot of times cattle prices are low. Right now, all your commodities, hay, grain, potatoes, they're really low. Well, we see today, cows are carrying it for us.
Sorry, Jeff. Is the grain more for feed for cattle, or does it go other places too? Do you guys sell it just for feed? So
we raise a lot of malt barley, and the malt barley goes to Anheuser-Busch. It's going to be malted here in Idaho Falls and then get shipped to wherever Anheuser-Busch is making like your beer, like Budweiser, Bud Light, those different brands. And so that goes for food. But if that doesn't quite make that food grade quality, then a lot of that will be sold as cow feed that they can use it. So again, all these industries kind of help the cattle market and vice versa. If there wasn't the cattle to take that, then there'd just be all this lower quality grain that what would you do with it?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a value added to all the different markets. They really help each other.
How does Idaho's cattle industry fit into the beef market in the United States? How big of a piece are we here?
That's a question. I saw that on there, and we're a large beef producing state. In the agriculture industry, I think it was ranked number 1 or 2 last year in agriculture income. So the cattle market. So
does that include dairy?
That does. And usually dairy is at number 1, but this year the cow-calf operation actually passed the dairy industry.
Oh, wow.
So that's really good. And I think we're going to grow a few more acres. We talked earlier about, the ground that we run up on the forest and kind of that multi-use ground where we can run cows on all the mountain country and all over. We have all this unused acres that you really can't do anything with other than recreate in. Now we can put our cows up there, and that high mountain grass is so good for the cows. It makes a great steak.
Yes, it does. So when you get to feed your cattle out on public lands like that, does that give it a grass-fed tag on the beef?
It can.
Okay.
So most, and that's, I don't really want to get into labeling too much, but most cows are going to be fed majority of their life on grass like that. But it's how they're finished.
Okay.
And so a cow that's grass finished has just been eating grass, grazing its whole life, and it takes about twice as long to finish a cow on that.
Okay.
Whereas if like our cows, we'll run up to our forest, we'll wean them off of their moms, and we'll put them kind of in our own little feedlot, and we background them, and that pretty well just means that they're off their moms, we've kind of settled them down from from that experience, make sure that they're healthy. And then we'll sell them to a feedlot or a feed yard, and they'll feed them for 90 to 120 days.
Okay.
All that other, the rations and stuff, the corn, the whatever that they're feeding them, and then that's how they're finished. But they pretty well grew up
feeding on grass.
It's just that last 90, 120 days that they're in a feedlot.
Well, and if you think about it too, like the weather and the seasons probably going to affect that too, like timing of everything, which I'm sure you guys plan for, but like there isn't always grass, and like you don't have grass in the middle of the winter, so I mean you have a little bit, but probably not the same as you would in the spring and the summer. So
and that's where we raise our alfalfa. Is half of our alfalfa goes to our cows just to maintain them, and alfalfa is great. Right now it's cheap, so it's good to feed the cows.
Yeah.
Even when it's expensive, it's good to feed the cows because it has the protein, the fiber. It's kind of it has everything that the cows need.
So we kind of already talked about that question, actually. Is there anything beyond what we've already talked about where the wheat? So the wheat goes to cows too, mostly, or
they do feed it to cows, but your wheat. So you have your different kinds of wheat: hard red, soft white, hard white. And there's quite a few out there, but like your hard white goes to bread, flour, pastries. Your hard reds, like your really hard or your really dark breads. So most of it actually goes to the industry or the bread industry. And I think like in Idaho, 80% of our commodities raised in Idaho leave the state.
Oh, wow.
And so
I knew that about barley, like especially around here, a lot of our barley goes to Anheuser-Busch, and the other Corona, I guess, is the other big one here. I knew that they took a lot of that, but I didn't realize that much wheat left here as well.
Yeah, a lot of it goes out of the Port of Lewiston. It's shipped up there. The Japanese, they really like our wheat. We raise a really high quality wheat in our area. There's a lot of trade missions that come in here looking for our wheat.
Oh, wow.
And so we have like that. We have great soil, great weather conditions to raise a lot of these crops. The only thing is that we have to water them. Whereas the Midwest, they rely on rain, where we have to actually do the irrigation to do it.
That's really cool. I feel like we talked about where the barley and the alfalfa kind of ends up in the food chain, but that's amazing about the wheat. So, yeah.